Thanks for tuning in to the Football Talk Squadron. I'm Dutch.
And I'm Maul.
And welcome back to our NFL Week 11 preview game tonight, Jets-Patriots. Going to be getting into the games here in a second. Had two things I want to talk about. So the first is, I just want you to hear this playoff and tell me like what your mind goes to. Your four top teams are the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, and Steelers, followed by the Chargers, Bills, and Jags. Like, where are you at?
What year is it? It's 2004 or what? Like you got Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger still out there? Like what's going on?
In 2007, the AFC teams were the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, Jags. And the actual teams were Patriots, Colts, Steelers, Chargers, Jags, Titans, Browns. Like,
wow.
You feel it's hilarious because it's like I think you said it a few weeks ago that it's like for the AFC East teams, you're just like, dude, finally Brady's gone. They suck again. And it's like, nope, here's the Patriots leading the division. You're just like, can we not just have a few years? So, man, it cracks me up. But from a standpoint of what that drove a few weeks ago, we were, I forget how the conversation came up. Pop said something that like spurred this like idea, and it got us thinking. Like, you always see it on like different videos that they'll be like, hey, what are some name a forgotten player? But what we talked, that's what it was, is you were at your kids like supping at school for Maul,
and there were some throwback Bears jerseys that these kids were wearing. One was Walter Payton, so that was obviously acceptable, but the other one I was like, I have no idea who that player was. Like, honestly, I thought it was like, it's probably the little kid's last name that they got him a Bears jersey and just put his own last name on it, because I'm like, I don't know who that is.
So it spurred something. You don't have to name every team, but we just on our own, we went through, we have not talked about this. The only person that me and Maul have even talked about it is because he said one of his, and I literally opened my thing to show him that I put the exact same player in, is you get to own a jersey. So it's about rocking the jersey of a forgotten player, but we put a couple of different criteria on it. One, it cannot be an active player playing today. And then two, it can't be a Hall of Famer. So you can't go back and be like Brady for the Patriots. Even I know he's not in the Hall of Fame. Dude's going to be a Hall of Famer. But it's one of those ones of like, you sit back and you're like, dude, that's a dope jersey. Like, it brings back those memories.
I will say was more difficult when I got into it. Like, being a fan, you think like, oh, dude, I know all these guys. That you start looking into them, you're like, dang, he's a Hall of Famer. Dang, he's a Hall of Famer. Dang. Like, it was a little more tricky. So we had to reach deep in our bag for some of these.
So I have all the teams listed. I'll tell you which ones I have a guy for, which ones I don't have a guy for. I don't have one for the Cardinals. No one in that time. The only guy that sticks out my brain is Edgerrin James, but he's a Hall of Fame running back.
This one was easy for me. Again, more fandom, but it's Carson Palmer.
That's a great one. That's great. Well, no, he's not in the Hall of Fame. The only other guy that I can think to pair with him is Anquan Bolden. Like, that dude was a beast.
One. Yeah.
The Falcons.
Oh, for me, this one's it was not really a forgotten player, but like he didn't fit any of the criteria, and it was easy. And I put Mike Vick. Like, he'll never be forgotten because of like who he was and obviously all the stuff that around him. But like, that's for me. Like, he is one of my favorite players of all time, and he will be for all time. So like, that was an easy one for me.
I said Steven Jackson.
Yeah, that's a great one too. Is he not in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay.
He just had those, but it's that like mindset that you're like, dude, he had some years that you're just like, he's not in the Hall of Fame. It's like, no, he didn't have like the longevity, but there was a time period where it's like, dude, Steven Jackson was running through that A gap just with those dreads gone.
I will say, when I played running back in high school, most of my guys, I have a lot of running backs just from like the bias
I
standpoint.
do
Because that's
too.
yeah, I mean, what it is.
The Ravens.
I do not have a Ravens jersey.
Willis McGahee.
Nice. That's a good one.
I like that one. The Bills.
This one was tough for me. I had Shady, but like I really couldn't. My first my initial thoughts. Obviously like the obvious OJ, but he's a Hall of Famer. Andre Reed, but again Hall of Famer. So it was tough for me. I couldn't. Shady was the best I could come up with.
I had the pre-Shady running back that I remember, Fred Jackson.
Okay.
Of him playing. That's somebody I just remember on the Bills that I liked. This is the guy that both me and Maul both had, Carolina Panthers. You said it first, so I'll let you.
So I actually had written down a couple because I was kind of going through them. My first initial reaction, like the one I would absolutely love to own, was Julius Peppers, because like that dude was like, he's one of those like best athlete on the field as a defensive end kind of guys. I loved watching him play, so much so that I feel like he was one of the first dudes that they started putting out at wide receiver from these like crazy random positions, because Julius Peppers was just unguardable. He was a monster, and they were throwing up, fades to him in the end zone because you couldn't stop him, but couldn't pick him. So I started racking my brain. I had Mushid Muhammad initially, and I was like, dang, that one's dope. But then again, running back bias, it was Mike Tolbert for me.
Yes.
Absolute bowling ball, touchdown vulture from like a fantasy standpoint. Like he would get 3 carries for 3 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game. And it was just like, I love that.
The Bears.
I wrote down 3. Matt Forte. I loved Matt Forte. But then Alshon Jeffries was
That's
great
who I had.
one. I also threw out B Marsh, dude. B Marsh was great as well.
Brandon Marshall. I remember him. I had him written down for my Broncos one because I remember the game that he caught like 15 ball. I think it was like 15 or 21 catches. Like he set the record for most catches in a game. Like it was just it was like Jamar Chase before Jamar Chase. Like it was just, you knew who was getting the football and no one could do anything about it. They kept lining corner after corner on him, just beating everybody. The Bengals, I told you mine. He was a good wide receiver, but the name alone, TJ Houshmandzadeh.
Who's your Mazode? Who's your mama? That was one of the greatest fantasy commercials ever released.
Yes.
He was a good one. I wrote down Houshmandzadeh, but I also wrote down Icky Woods for the Icky Shuffle, which, again, most people probably don't even know what the Icky Shuffle is until they saw it, and you'd be like, that's the Icky Shuffle. And they'd be like, oh.
Cleveland Browns. Oh, it's a great dance.
I wrote Josh Gordon.
I got Josh Gordon too. Dude, it's like this. It's like the sadness that he just couldn't stop smoking weed. But it was like, dude, when that dude played, like it was undoubtable. Like he was the best wide receiver like in the NFL for like that year. Like untouchable.
So while we're talking about it, because it's a very similar story, who do you have for the Dolphins?
It's a running back, Ronnie Brown.
Oh, see, same kind of area. I wrote Ricky Williams. Yeah, because like originally, so I had Wes Welker, but I had done the Dolphins first, and I thought Welker was great because again, it was like the initial, token white wide receiver kind of guy. But then when I got to the Browns, the only one I could think of was Josh Gordon, and when I thought of Josh Gordon, I was like, man, I gotta go back and put Ricky Williams for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Ricky was unreal. What's crazy is he just didn't do anything with the Saints. And it was like he had been suspended for the year, get signed with the Dolphins, and then he started to go on a tear with the Dolphins. Was very good. The Broncos, you already know mine. I was sitting there with Brandon Marshall. Who did you have? Or did you have anybody?
I do. I'm trying to find him on my list. Oh, I got Ed McCaffrey.
Oh, good old 87 Ed. That dude caught everything.
The purest routes ever run, maybe outside of Jerry Rice. Like he was not a crazy athletic dude. I mean, he was obviously in the NFL, but like he was not blown away with speed or any of that. He was just running absolute pure routes to get open and catching everything.
Yeah. Going on, I did not have anyone from the Lions. I just could not think of anyone that's not a Hall of Famer.
I threw Golden Tate out there. But again, that was like a little bit of a stretch of just like I was just trying to dig in there to find somebody.
The Packers. I had two. I had Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings. Like, it just seemed like they just had these guys, like in years, it was like Donald Driver. Like, just these heaters of wide receivers that just couldn't be matched. They're not going to be in the Hall of Fame, but man, for those like 4 or 5 years, fantasy just, if you had one of those guys on your fantasy team, you were probably winning.
This is one of my few defensive players. It's Clay Matthews.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. Should be. Like, that dude was a wrecking ball in the league for a good 5 to 10 years. Like, unstoppable. The fact that he didn't win a Super Bowl, criminal. I'm already going to say that we have the same one for the Texans.
Who do you got?
Arian Foster.
Okay, so I wrote Arian Foster. He is nominated for the Hall of Fame. He's just not inducted yet. So I thought a little bit more, and I'll give you Arian Foster. And then this is my second defensive player, Brian Cushing.
Psychopath.
Absolute psychopath, dude. I mean, but he was so good, dude. So good. Talk about game wrecker.
I still remember him headbutting that Browns
with no
dude.
helmet.
Yes. And even his own teammates are like, yo, dog, chill, man. It's over.
Brian Cushing.
The Colts.
Suck for luck, baby.
So I wrote down Luck initially. I actually just bought his jersey. I found it on sale in Atlanta for $30 stitched. I was like, that's coming home. I had Austin Collie. I'm not sure if you remember him.
I remember him.
He had a career derailed by just honestly targeting when targeting wasn't a thing. Like, I think he caught like 4 concussions in 2 years, and they weren't like the let me get up and jog off. They were like the Tua crossing your fingers, except he didn't even cross his fingers. He just laid there face down in the dirt. Like, but that dude, he was a weapon. The Jaguars.
Fred Taylor.
This was my defensive side. Miles Jack.
Wow.
I just remember they should have beat Brady in that AFC Championship. Like, the Jags were going to the Super Bowl. Like, it was there, and then they just blew it.
Yeah, that defense was filthy.
This is where I sit back and go, we may have the same player again. Kansas City Chiefs. I've got the X Factor Dante Hall.
So I do have Dante Hall written down, but I don't think I own this jersey anymore because it was like back in high school, so I've probably gotten rid of it. But it was like one of the first jerseys I've ever owned from a professional team. It was Priest Holmes.
That's the Chiefs jersey I got hanging in the house.
But yes, the Raiders. Dante Hall was just so fun to watch.
Filthy. The Raiders.
Give me Bo, baby. Again, it's one of those, he will never be forgotten, but he met the criteria for what we set. So it's Bo Jackson every day.
You're going to like mine. Michael Crabtree.
Yes.
Dude. Beast. Beast at Texas Tech. Beast in the pros. If he wasn't catching, he was snatching necklaces off of Keith Talib's neck.
He was the older George Pickens, right? He's absolute dog, but if he could just stop fighting people, he would do even better.
Yes. The Chargers.
I got Eric Weddle.
Dude, the beard.
The beard.
He was fantastic. You're probably not even going to know who I'm talking about here. It's me and my dad loved watch. He played for a bunch of different teams, but I remember him. He was the fullback when LT was there, Lorenzo Neal.
Yes.
Beast.
100%.
That dude was a hamster of muscle. Like, I don't think he had a neck. He just had more traps. Like, you go look at his picture online for anyone just listening, and go look up Lorenzo Neal.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he was a fullback on the Chargers, but like he was not a fullback from like a trade standpoint. Like I'm pretty sure he was
He
like
was
a
Mike Tolbert
linebacker.
pre Mike Tolbert.
Yeah, or like he was like a defensive end or something. They were just like, dude, you got to get in front of LT, like go block.
Yeah. The Rams.
So interesting. I have Steven Jackson, but I see because I associate him with the Rams. But I thought of one even better, and this is one guy that I think is truly forgotten, and it's unfortunate because he probably could have broken.
We have the same player.
Is Todd Gurley.
Yep. Todd
Dude.
Gurley.
Oh my gosh.
It's like Bo. It like here's a guy that was special, and it was like if his knees had just like stayed. And you are correct when you talk about forgotten. Like people forget like how special he was coming out of college, and it was like he was on pace with the Rams, and it was just injuries derailed it.
Todd Gurley had some of those like random crazy like Derrick Henry type stats where it was like, if you look at like the last 5 years, now this was like years ago, but it was like if you look at the last 5 years, like Todd Gurley was still in the top 5 of like yards and like touchdowns scored for running backs, and it was like Todd Gurley hasn't played in 2 years. You know, it's like he was out of the league for like 2 years, and he was like still leading rushing stats.
Yeah, he was incredible. We talked about the Dolphins. What about the Vikings?
Again, it met the criteria. He's 100% a future Hall of Famer. The best I could come up with is AP. Like, I got nothing.
I thought of the wide receiver that was there when Favre was there, Sidney Rice. Like, that dude balled out. I thought of because of the names, Visante Shanko was their tight end. And then they had a fullback named Kleinsaucer. And it was just like, I just remember Boomer just being like, Kleinsaucer! Like, those are the memories that are like built into my mind.
Didn't Percy Harvin play for the Vikings?
Yes.
That would have been a good one. I just thought of that one.
He played for Seattle and took that punt or the kickoff back in the open in the second half. The Patriots, you already said him earlier. It was my pick for the Pats, Wes Welker.
Yeah, so I have Julian Edelman because of the Wes Welker pick, but yeah, same lines there.
The Saints.
Oh, it's Reggie Bush. Easy.
I had Jimmy Graham.
Nice.
Just during that time with Drew Brees, like that was like when the tight end, it was like this like first time that you've seen a tight end that you're like, dude, this dude's catching like 10 passes a game. Like he's not a blocker.
If it wasn't for Reggie, my honorable mention would have been Deuce McAllister.
The deuce is loose. The Giants. We probably have the same pick. If you thought of him, we do.
Jeremy Shockey?
Yes. Jeremy Shockey was a beast. And he was also one that would be willing to fight anyone during the game. The Jets. This is my funny one. It's not so much serious, but it's what I could do with the jersey.
We probably have the same guy then, because I would say he might have been forgotten, but after recent news, he probably won't be forgotten. and it's Mark Sanchez.
I just want the back of the jersey to not even say Sanchez. It would say butt fumble, but have a big blood stain on the jersey. That's what mine would go with the Jets. And that sums up the Jets franchise. The Eagles.
Again, couldn't really think of a good one. I had Shady again.
I had Darren Sproles.
It's a great one. It's great.
That dude was amazing. The Steelers.
Slash.
Man, mine was Rashard Mendenhall, and I'm mad that I didn't put Slash. Dude, Cordell Stewart was fantastic.
Yes.
He was unstoppable in NFL Blitz when I grew up.
Love Cordell Stewart, man.
The Niners.
So I have two. Garrison Hurst, absolute beast. And this is, I think, probably like the ultimate forgotten on my list. JJ Stokes. You remember him?
Yes.
Dude, he was never the number one, but he was like the number 3 on that team with how good those teams were. But like, I love JJ Stokes. He could have been a number 1 on any other team.
This is when I say like one of these like left field picks of left fields. It's Brandon Lloyd, and it's because if you've ever seen his highlight reel,
You've made me go look at his highlight reels. That's the only reason I know who that is.
oh, dude, that dude, I still remember there was this one, he's like running, he like reaches up and just like, it's incredible. Do yourself a favor if you're a football fan, just go watch Brandon Lloyd highlights. The Seahawks.
Beast mode.
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, then I don't have anybody.
Mine was Bama, Sean Alexander. Like he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. He was NFL MVP for a year. Like, but that'd be my pick. Buccaneers.
Mike Allstott. That one was easy for me.
Mike's great. I had him and I had Vincent Jackson, if you remember him.
Yeah, it was a good one as well.
The Titans.
Air McNair.
Air was great. The guy I put another defensive guy, Javon Curse, the freak. He was great. And then the Commanders. I had 2 for them as well.
See, I had 3. My initial was Clinton Portis. That was just like real good. And then you kind of another defensive guy, Sean Taylor. That one's like classic. But I thought of, and you remember those old commercials where like they would do some random thing? Dude, for me, it was Chris Cooley. You remember him punching through the wall and catching that? That's like, for that commercial alone, I wanted that jersey.
I remember these 2 guys played on the same Redskins team, and that's like what linked it into my mind was Pierre Garçon and Santana Moss. Those 2 dudes were fantastic with them. But I'm glad we did that. That makes my heart full. Those are like jerseys that I told Holly, I was like, maybe I'll just start collecting NFL jerseys. Because you just pull some. I saw there was this, I don't know if I ever showed you this. There was this college class. This guy sort of in the back row, and he's videotaping, or he was taking pictures. He's like, yo, this kid just showed up in this jersey. And like the next day, different. He never wore the same jersey. And it was like NBA, NFL, like but it was like heaters. And it was also some of these like forgotten names. And they were like, well, Fanatics got a hold of it. And so the kid shows up in class, and I'm not joking. There's like 300 new jerseys piled up on that kid's chair. And he's just like, this is the best day ever. And that,
love that for him.
Yeah, that makes my heart full. But going into week 11, Jets going to the Patriots. Jets come off a win against the Browns. Patriots just keep winning. They're 8-2 in the lead of the AFC, 12.5-point favorites tonight over the Jets. Any chance that the Jets can somehow shock New England?
No.
Correct. Which, we want to talk about just bad beats. We were driving, and my buddy Gut is like, hey, what, you want to know what the score is to the Jets game? I'm like, what? He's like, it's 14. Jets are winning. He goes, you ready for this? How many yards passing does Fields have? And I was like, well, by you asking, it's bad. I was like, 9. He's like, 1. He's like, how many yards does their leading receiver have? And I go, I'm guessing 1. He's like, you're correct. And he goes, how many yards rushing does Breece Hall have? And I was like, 100. And he goes, 2. And I was like, what? And he goes, you want to guess how they scored? And I was like, I just go ahead and tell him. He's like, punt return and a kickoff return. And I was just like, God bless. Like, that sums up the Jets. Their offense is horrifically bad. And if it's not for special teams, they're going to get murdered by the Patriots tonight.
Yeah, and I think the Bills are the only team when they're a double-digit favorite is to avoid, because the Bills have not only not covered, I think, this year, but have straight up outright lost. Vrabel talked about it, how, one, we kind of knew Vrabel was going to come in and do this. I didn't think we were going to see it this fast, but he has got that team locked in. He even said in his interview when he was talking about, he's like, I'm trying, like, as a coach to like come up with things to like make the team like have something to fight for. He goes, I don't even need to. He's like, this team is just locked in, knowing what they need to do, and that says a lot coming from a guy like Vrabel.
They're a very difficult team to beat right now. Then going into Sunday, first game in Spain, Commanders playing the Dolphins. Yet again, I sit back and I can't figure out the Dolphins. It's like
No.
they beat the Bills handedly, whoop up on the Falcons, get crushed by the Ravens. It's just like they're 3-7. It's like, who are they? And then on the other side of the ball with the Commanders, no Jaden Daniels. He luckily didn't have to have surgery on his elbow. Probably unlikely if he ever plays again this year. So they're going to have Mariota. Who do you like? In the game?
I like the Dolphins. I hate to say it. The only thing that's like maybe a negative, and we've talked about this, of like Miami is not at home. They're the home team, but it's not in Miami. Now it's in Madrid, so like maybe hot, humid. It's late, so maybe I think it's not maybe that hot in Madrid. I don't know what Spain's climate is like at this time of the year. Tua doesn't like to play outside of Miami. In Miami, though, apparently they're the best team ever because they keep coming up with these wins that they shouldn't. At least you think they shouldn't be, but when they're clicking, dude, they're playing good football.
I'll take Miami. The thing that's really hurt the Commanders this year, outside of Jaden Daniels being hurt, is I don't want to call it luck last year, but it was like they got away with having, in my opinion, like a really old roster, and it's really showing this year.
Yeah.
Like they need some youth, especially on the defensive side. They're going to go heavy. If they're smart, they're going to go heavy in the draft on defense and offensive line next year. But that's been the Commanders' downfall so far. Then you got the Panthers. Panthers sitting here losing to the Saints and then playing against the Falcons, who also look bad. It's last time the Panthers played the Falcons, they beat them 31-0 in Carolina, but now they're going to Atlanta. Atlanta's 3.5 point favorite. Who do you have?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the game that Cousins played?
No, Cousins did. Penix threw 2 pick sixes against the Panthers, and that's what really shot him.
Well, then I don't know. This one's a toss up in my mind. Both NFL level football teams, but both just bad organizations, bad football teams, kind of on both sides of the ball. Or give me the Falcons, just because I'm sick of watching the Panthers play the way they're playing.
I'll take the Panthers because I'd still like my playoff pick from the preseason to work out correctly. Afternoon game, or excuse me, still the 1 o'clock. Bucks going to the Bills. So you got, this is just like the Bucks lose bad to the Patriots last week. The Bills lose even worse to Miami. You have these two teams that I love both of their quarterbacks, but outside of their quarterbacks, they have a lot of issues. We already knew that about Buffalo. Tampa Bay's really sort of not looked as feisty as they have from the beginning of the season. Who do you like in this game more?
Initially, I'd say the Bills, just because even though the Bucks have a good record, they've really grinded through, which you can make turn into a good thing of like they've really got a lot of heart, and Baker's really keeping them in games. I think though the few losses that the Bucks do have, they've just gotten outmatched. And there's times where it's like, man, when they just get outmatched by a team like they did against the Patriots, it's tough for them to do the grind. I will say Bucky Irving may come back. That's kind of up in the air. That will significantly help the Bucks, especially because the Bills struggle against the run. I think the Bills have shown that they can have these bad games. They've done it more than once now. I do just think, though, it was a bad game against the Dolphins. And if they can just play a not bad game, they should beat the Bucks.
The Bucky Irving returning has me picking the Buccaneers because the Bills defense has really struggled against the run. That it's what cost them games. It cost them against the Falcons. It cost them against the Dolphins. The Chiefs, if there's anything that I can say about why they beat the Chiefs, it sort of goes into what you talked about earlier in the year. The Chiefs can't run the football. Like it has been the linchpin to the Chiefs offense is the inability to run. The Bucks, I believe, can run the football even without Bucky Irving, and that's why I like the Bucks in the game, just because the Bills defense has really struggled against teams that have any sign of being able to run the football well. Then the Texans go to the Titans. Titans coming off a bye. Don't think it matters. Played against the Texans, who, even without CJ Stroud, won the game.
Hey, Davis Mills did not play that bad. Like, again, you would much rather have CJ Stroud out there. Like, there's a reason Davis Mills is the backup. But, like, from a monstrous level of drop off you would have expected to get, Davis Mills did not play that bad. He's got a win under his belt, which gives him some confidence against a really weak Titans team. I think that should be enough because just the Titans are so awful.
The Titans are horrifically bad. Next game up, I wish Pops was here just to be able to give it a little bit more juice. Bears, Vikings. Like,
you mean the tied for first place Bears?
Dude. So the Bears get the win last week against the Giants. However, and I want to put an asterisk of all asterisks on that win. If Jackson Dart doesn't leave the game, the Bears lose. But if you watch that game, once Russell Wilson got in that game, there was no doubt the Bears were going to win that game. Russell Wilson was throwing balls. I have never in my life seen a quarterback throw worse passes than he did. Like, dude, what are we doing? Like, what in? I mean, it was so bad the Giants have been like, yo, Jameis Winston, you're in. Because Giants fans are going to storm the stadium if we start Russ again. Vikings come off the loss to the Ravens. They lost 27-19. So this is, as you pointed out, this is really a game you're looking at first place overall in the NFC North. Who's going to be ranked first by the end of the week?
Give me the Bears, man. I mean, like, you don't feel super great making the pick every week. At least I'm not. I don't have a ton of confidence in it, but like they're catching good matchups. Like their defense is doing all right. I think after that first game that JJ McCarthy came back, he looked incredible that first game against the Lions. They absolutely just had an out of their mind game against the Lions, but have since kind of come back down to earth. I think the Bears will be able to slow them down just enough. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it should be decently high scoring. As long as Caleb doesn't make a bunch of mistakes, dude, like, give me the Bears.
Bears should have won the first time they met, but they didn't. And I don't think they win this one. I've got the Vikings. I feel like the Bears have dodged 2 losses against the Bengals and against the Giants, and I feel like they're begging for a loss since coming off of their bye week, and that's why I'm taking the Vikings in the game. Then we just talked about Jameis Winston getting the start. The Packers go to the Giants right now. Green Bay 7.5 point favorite. Green Bay, we say it at the same time.
Pretenders.
Yes. Jordan Love sucks, dude. All the struggles with the Packers come down to Jordan Love. Like,
and you know, sometimes I don't know what's going on. Some of it almost feels Matt LaFleur-ish as well. Like some of these play calls, and again, I don't know. Like I don't know what the play call is or how some of these plays develop into Jordan Love just like backing up and being like, there's somebody down there, yeet. And you're just like, what was that? Like, so I don't know if these are play calls or like why Matt LaFleur is not calling a better game but they're pretenders for sure. Like they are not a team to be feared right now from like the NFC standpoint. That being said, with Jameis on the other side of the ball, talk about yeet. Like he's got nothing to lose, nothing to prove. Give me the Packers for like 3+ interceptions in the game, probably. So I'm going to take the Packers just from like you can't go to your third string quarterback and really expect to win games. But man, I'm not excited about this one.
I'm going to take the Packers. I'm in the same boat. It it really it has more to do with I like Green Bay's defense, as you talked about, to create some turnovers, and that's what really the Giants are in disarray. They fired Dabble. Yet again, we're gonna have a new coach. It's just like this like cyclical cycle with the Giants that it's just a franchise that is destroyed from within as an organization because they can't get out of their own way to be successful.
And then it's injuries too. I mean, like Dart's out, Scadaboo's out. Pretty sure Sterling Shepard's out. Like they're losing so many weapons. Like there's just nothing to be excited about.
Yeah. Bengals go to the Steelers. Pittsburgh's -5.5. Aaron Rodgers, like you'll have a game that he looks good, and then last week against Chargers or like against the Packers, you're like, man, this team sucks.
It's the 500 team we expected. Like
yes,
they're playing exactly like the 500 team we expected. It just so happens that that's making them like first place in that division. Again, it's tough because like if the Bengals defense is just so bad. To me, this feels like it's going to be the plus side of the 500 team that we see from the Steelers or from the Steelers. Because the Steelers defense is okay. Like they're pretty good. So Joe Flacco might have some success, but I mean, again, like if they can't stop the Giants or the Jets or the Bears by putting up 40 points, like I think Aaron Rodgers is going to probably put up some points on them.
Well, they won last time. Bengals won 33-31 with Flacco. Like I'm sitting back and for me, I have the Bengals of this game, and it's because Joe Burrow's practicing. The division, even though you're sitting here 3-6, is not off. Like it is anyone's division right now between the Bengals, Steelers, and Ravens. If the Bengals win this game, they're in it. Like they have a chance to win the division. Now, are they, like you said, the defense is still awful. You're not fixing that. But if you can just win this game, you're pretty much saying, hey, Joe's going to come back. Like we've put ourselves in a position. I think with that in the fourth, like the knowledge of that, Bengals get the win. That's what my gut says. Last game of the noon o'clock kickoffs, Chargers going to the Jags. Chargers come away with a win last week, but the against the Steelers, Jags lose to the Texans. And then I don't know if you saw, it was like the ultimate bad beats. The Jags were already losing. They're trying to like get down in field goal position at the end of the game, and then Trevor Lawrence like throws. It was like a fumble pick, and then the Texans scored and it ended up covering. Like so, if you were a Jags fan, you're like, well, we're not going to win, but at least I covered. Just like the ultimate bad beat of betting. Right now, Chargers 2.5-point favorites. I feel like that line's low, but then every time I think the Chargers are going to perform better against a team, the Chargers seem to struggle. So I understand the line.
That's what it is to me. Is I don't think the Jags are a threat. Like you can't beat Davis Mills and the Texans. You're not beating Herbert and the Chargers. But again, from the line standpoint, it's exactly what it is. It's like the Chargers. We've got this in our mind that they're a much better football team, and I think they have the potential. They just can't quite like put a full game together of dominance. But I do think they're going to beat the Jags.
Then in these afternoon games, there are some heavy hitting games, especially in terms of divisional seeding. Seahawks going to the Rams. Rams right now -3.5-point favorites, which is surprising because I like Seattle in the game.
Should set up for game of the week. Should. I'll take the other side. I'll take the Rams in this one. I love the way the Seahawks are playing. Dude. They both sides of the ball playing really, really well. But so are the Rams. And this one's going to be a great game, in my opinion. Give me the Rams because they're at home.
Yet again in the AFC West, Niners going to the Cardinals. San Francisco's -2.5-point favorites. Jacoby Brissett looked really bad last week against Seattle. However, the Niners are banged up. The Niners have Christian McCaffrey. Is that enough to beat the Cardinals?
I think Purdy's coming back as well, which didn't necessarily bode well for the Niners the last time Purdy came back. But I think the Cardinals they're still just trying to figure out what to do moving forward without Kyler Murray. Jacoby Brissett, again, we've talked about this. He's a backup for a reason. He can have good games, but he still plays like a backup, and the Niners are going to win.
Agreed. Ravens going to the Browns. Baltimore 7.5-point favorite. They need this game in order for not only AFC North implications, but playoff implications going forward. The Ravens got to win out. Do they get the win against Myles Garrett and the Browns?
Yes.
Yeah. Based on what I saw last week for the Browns against Jets, Ravens winning this game.
Yes.
This one's huge because when we started off this, just to reiterate, when I read off the current playoff standings, Colts, Broncos, Patriots, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, Jags, there was one team absent. They are the number 8 team on the bubble, the Chiefs. They play the Broncos. This is a huge game for the AFC West. Right now, Kansas City minus 3.5-point favorites. What say you on the outcome of this game?
It's one of those, like, it's in our mind because it's the Chiefs, but like looking at record wise, you'd kind of go, Broncos are at home. They're a better record. Like, why are the Chiefs favorites? It's because the Broncos are playing probably the most inconsistent football out there. Like, I don't know what to do with them. Like, they're winning, so good for them, but like barely beating the Jets doesn't, give you a ton of confidence of, beating the Chiefs. I will say they always play the Chiefs tough. Pacheco's out for the Chiefs. They still haven't found out a way to really run the ball. I think they're playing better football, though, than the Broncos. The Broncos have the team to beat the Chiefs from a defensive side of the ball if they show up and play a good football game. But like, I haven't seen in the last 3 weeks from the Broncos play a good football game. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Yeah, that Thursday night game against the Raiders was horrific to watch. That felt personal for Amazon to remind us of how bad Amazon Thursday night games are, because that was your typical. I saw more 3 and outs in one game than I've seen all season in that from any game.
Every primetime game this whole week, Thursday was awful. Sunday night was awful. Monday night was awful. Like, all the primetime games were just snooze fests. Like,
Yes.
we were in the room and we were, talking, chit chatting or whatever. It's like, I feel like I hadn't paid attention to the last 15 minutes of this game. And I look up and I'm like, same score. Okay. Like, it was
They were
awful.
bad. Yeah. I am in agreement with you. Like, I like the Chiefs in the game, and it's just because I think the vast majority of what's going on with the Broncos can be summed up in the Bo Nix slump, the sophomore slump. He just hasn't been efficient. And I said this last week, and it showed up in that Raiders game. Dude, the Broncos wide receivers are old. Like, it's just they do not have a lot of talent at that wide receiver position, and it really shows in terms of just like guys to create separation and make big plays. They don't have some dude that they can throw a pop pass to and he'd take it 80 yards. Like, that's not how the Broncos score. And we're going to drive the football down. We use Bo Nix's legs to run. And the only thing good for the Broncos in this game is, Chris Jones hasn't showed up all year. So if that can.
Well, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be out. R.J. Harvey's a good backup, but who knows with Sean Payton, like the way they may get into this like committee type thing. Like, I don't know. You're right. And like their offenses, they showed up against Dallas, which Dallas's defense is pretty weak. But like outside of that, they just have not shown up on offense. And I feel like the Chiefs are just a good enough team that you can't let stick around in a close game because they will beat you. The Raiders can't beat you. A Davis Mills-led Texans can't beat you. Like a Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs will beat you.
Yes. Then the primetime games. Sunday night, Lions going to the Eagles. Lions thump the Commanders as expected. The Eagles struggle against Packers. And then what was hilarious is when I didn't realize it till the next morning. We were all on a golf trip. We turned the TV off and everyone goes to their own rooms to go to sleep when Josh Jacobs fumbled. And we're like, well, that's the end of the game. Well, then the next morning, Maul's like, hey, did you see the Packers got the ball back? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, somehow like the Eagles threw it on like 2 of the 3 and then went for it on 4th down and like threw a bomb that was incomplete. And the Packers got like the 50-yard line and ended up missing like a 60-yard field goal to tie it up. And I was like, what? And so I went back and watched it. And it's like, the Eagles are not 7 and like their record 7-2. They're not a 7-2 team. Like, I think the Lions come in here and smack the Eagles. I know Philly's picked in the game -2.5. Dude, I like the Lions in this game.
Yeah, this at the beginning of the season, NFC Championship. This is it right here, right? Like that's what everybody's picking. So this should, I think it'll still be a good game because somehow, call it a conspiracy theory, call it whatever, like calls are being made. It's an entertainment business. Like it's still going to somehow be a good game. But yeah, give me the Lions, dude, because what I've seen out of Philly is not impressive. It's one thing to like make those decisions and then like afterwards be like, that was a mistake, guys. Like, my bad. Like, based on, I'm lucky we won, but like based on what I saw happen, maybe I wouldn't have made the same call. But like classic Sirianni, just like, yep, stand by my decision. They still needed a touchdown. And it's like, dude, they shouldn't even have been in the game. And you let them in the game. You're just lucky that McManus missed.
Facts. Then Monday night, back to a snooze fest, mainly because it's 2 games, 2 teams I could care less about. The Cowboys go to the Raiders. I want to tell you that the Cowboys win this game. And it's like,
if anything, maybe we'll see some points scored. Because Dallas they struggled against the Broncos, but their offense is pretty good. And the Raiders, obviously, defense sucks. And we know Dallas's defense sucks. So if anything, maybe we'll at least get some points scored from an entertainment value.
Yeah, I would have thought that too when the Cowboys played the Cardinals, but then the Cowboys went out and looked like, I love NFL memes. Every time the Cowboys lose, it's like, it's just seeing if y'all still them boys, and it's just like the pictures of the QB's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to see Geno Smith's face up there after Monday night because I love watching the Cowboys lose, but the Raiders are just bad. Like, they're a bad football team. They have a lot. I mean, you trade away your number 1 receiver in Jacoby Myers. You still have Genty. You still have Brock Bowers. That's the only thing that honestly keeps them in games. But from an offensive standpoint of efficiency, Geno Smith's days are numbered. Like, the Raiders are going to probably do everything they can to go draft somebody. Hopefully it's not Carson Beck or someone that makes them worse. But we'll find out.
We've seen Genty have a breakout type of game before. So if that can be their game plan going in and it works because Dallas's defense is weak, they've got a shot, but that's about their only shot. Because I made that joke last week of like, how bad is who's the backup for the Raiders? Rudolph?
Yeah.
No. Kenny Pickett. It's Kenny Pickett. How bad is Kenny Pickett that Geno on like one leg, Pete Carroll's still just like, nah, you're in. You know what I mean? Like, because at this point you're like, we're not gonna win this game. Like, let's not get Geno too seriously hurt. Put the backup in, and you're just like, can't risk it. And like kept Geno in with like one leg, and he's limping around the field. So they've got major work to do in the offseason.
Absolutely. I have Dallas in the game, unfortunately, just because the Raiders have not shown me any type of consistency to pick them if the game gets more than 21 points. That wraps up week 11. You got anything else before we tune it out?
That's it.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll check in with you guys next week after this season time. Pulled Chalks.